Hi Libra, welcome to your July 2018 love reading. It's Raina here. I probably should turn on the light because it seems like it's very overcast outside and I don't have any lights on right now. So it might be showing up on the video as kind of a bit dim, but I kind of like this light. I mean, at least as I'm living in it, so we'll see. Whoa, so far you've gotten some pretty heavy cards here, Libra. What is up with that? Interesting. Well, this is what I think so far, and remember that this is a general reading, so I'm only going to present, a certain scenario, and I notice that sometimes people thumb down readings because, and I always think, I wonder why they're thumbing down the reading. I know that if somebody gives me a thumbs up, they probably like something I said. Well, maybe they didn't like something I said when they give me a thumbs down. Remember that this is supposed to apply to all Librans. So, if you're in a happy relationship, you have no business watching this in the first place, because enjoy your relationship. Don't wait for the shoe to drop and say, maybe I should watch tarot readings about my relationship, because what if something is actually going wrong behind the scenes? Even though everything seems so perfect, something bad could happen. Don't approach relationships with that attitude. So this is going to be, if people are in relationships, that there's problems to begin with. That's how I'm doing these readings. And even when I do private readings, my assumption is always that if somebody's doing a reading, there's some misgiving that they're having kind of second thought about a relationship, or something isn't right in the relationship. I can't imagine anybody, who has a perfect relationship that's saying, wow, I want to, see if maybe something's really wrong and I don't know it. So this is the scenario. This doesn't have to be the only one, as I said. But this is the focus for July, is the Tower card. Oh, no. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of, well, I can just say this anyway, even though your sign is not engaged with the eclipses that are happening in the near future. I'm recording this in early June. There's going to be eclipses in July, the month that this reading is for. So it's going to affect everyone. It doesn't have to be of a certain sign. It's going to affect everyone because that's what eclipses do. They shake things up. So the Tower card as a centerpiece, for people that this pertains to, may have a revelation or experience like a shock that has to do with their relationship. My contention is that in many cases, they already knew this. Like, even if you walk in on your partner cheating and you say, oh my God, they're cheating, you may have already kind of noticed changes in their behavior. It might have crossed your mind that they were cheating, but you didn't have any solid proof, and now you do. So actually, it's a good thing when this happens, because now you know, and now you can make an informed decision. Maybe the person lied and said nothing was happening, it was your imagination. So one person's Tower card being a bad thing is another person's blessing, because they know it's a release. That's what the Tower card is. It's a release. There's tension that has built up. There's some kind of instability that needs to be dealt with. And it just gets, zapped. And there's another term I like to use, but I can't think of it right now. Basically, when the pressure builds, something has to give. And it's a catalyst. That's what I think I was going to say, that the Tower card is a catalyst for change that you're unwilling to make, perhaps, or the other party. So some kind of a thing, maybe it's not too pleasant that you find out about the other person, or an actual, situation arises that you can no longer ignore. What crosses you is the Nine of Swords. So there's a sense of feeling like anxiety is so great about this particular issue that you're paralyzed, that you can't think straight, that you can't act on it. And that, again, is telling you something. Just like when the body experiences physical pain, it means that something is amiss. It means that something isn't quite right. The same thing applies to your relationships. If you're feeling pain, or in your life in general, maybe you're too attached to your partner. Maybe there's a codependency, and you are too dependent on them being there, that you've been tolerating or looking the other way for things that you shouldn't have, that you should have dealt with this a long time ago, and now it's staring you in the face and you can no longer ignore it. But perhaps you should have dealt with it, and it's causing you anxiety. That, what I'm trying to say here is that it's kind of like a chicken and egg thing. You may be anxious because something is happening in your committed relationship, or maybe it's just like a dating situation, but you want to be in a relationship with someone, and something is happening that may be threatening that, and so you feel anxious, and that makes it harder for you to leave because you're feeling emotionally vulnerable. However, you may not admit this or can understand that this is the case, but your emotional vulnerability may have been what led you to be in a relationship with somebody that really isn't well suited to you, that you don't have really a good relationship with, apart from whatever happened. Maybe they don't treat you properly. And so that led you to stay with that person in the first place. And then this happened. So it can be something that you blame on a particular event, when in fact it goes a lot deeper than that. The foundation of this reading is the Emperor card, and this can be about an Aries person. This person could be in law enforcement or a police officer, and they have a way of looking at life that you may find irritating, because they may have too rigid a mentality. They may think that they may not see the nuances in life. They may see everything as black and white, good and bad, and they're pretty much incapable at this time of living life, not judging others, but trying to understand others. And I think that's what Libra people do. But this type of person is maybe very authoritarian, and that's why those two particular professions, a soldier or a military person or a police officer, they tend to be people who approach life like that, who have that sense of like no gray areas. And I could see a Libra person pulling out their hair dealing with this person, but you still may be attracted to them. This could be a judge. This could be the legal system. If you're married and you're finding it out, this may be the Tower may be the final straw for you. And you're like, I'm out of here. This is enough. I've taken enough from this person. And perhaps you were on the fence before and no longer. Now you know you have to do something about this. The higher message is the Three of Cups, and this is the card of celebration, but in this particular context, I would look at an alcoholic, but also somebody who may like to hang out in bars, and they may be a womanizer. You see that there are multiple women here. So this could be somebody who likes to be in that environment where they're always partying, celebrating, you know, that having that side of life, but that is the perfect environment for infidelity because their inhibitions are lowered and they might do something that they normally wouldn't do. And there may be a lot of available participants for them to choose from who are looking for a good time as well. And as a higher message, it might be saying that this, whatever this event was already in the cards, pardon the pun, that this was already a done deal because this is how this person is. If somebody tells you who they are, believe them. You know, it's like if you meet someone and when you met them, you were in a bar and they like got so drunk that they passed out, or they, you know, when you were dating, they go out to the bar all the time, or always coming home intoxicated, or always, you know, drinking. You know, why do people think that marriage is going to magically change that situation, or moving in together? People don't kind of connect the dots sometimes, and then they're like, whoa, wait a second, I thought that this was going to be over with because we got married. It's like, why? So that's pretty interesting. And also just that this kind of person just may be how they are. They just like that type of environment. And, you know, if you think about the partying mentality, when you're talking about not when you're in college age or anything like that, but when you're older, you know, why are people like that? Well, sometimes people just, they're trying to have a good time all the time. And they just happen to be excessively social, or that's the way they think you have to have a good time. And they can't think of any other way to do that. But if that's something that doesn't appeal to you, then you may be very incompatible with that kind of a person. And they may have plenty of company who are willing to kind of participate with them. So this position, sometimes I say it's what's coming in, but I think it can be the advice in this case. The Ace of Swords. Seeing things as they really are. The moment of clarity. And the point being that it may take a dramatic event. Like, you know, somebody, your partner confessing to you that they've been cheating on you, or walking in on somebody, God forbid. I think that would be very traumatic. But whatever it is, sometimes it takes something to be in your face in order for you to believe it and to realize that that's what you're dealing with. And so the Ace of Swords is actually a very positive card about new beginnings, especially, or actually also victories. But it happens when you have maybe had to deal with a lot. And there was a certain, you know, amount of hurdles that you had to jump before you could get where you are. And maybe you had to to do a lot of inner work in order to come to the understanding that something is over with, that somebody isn't good for you, in order to move on with your life. What is coming in is represented by the Page of Cups. So this could be a new relationship, particularly with a water sign. I think this card connects to Pisces. The other water signs are Cancer, which makes sense to me that you might be attracted to the Cancer or Scorpio. And also, the Page of Cups is a card of a person who has a tendency to be naive, gullible in life. So I would say that this card is asking you to look at when you have been gullible and believed somebody just because they told you something. Maybe secretly it didn't add up to you, but you believed it anyway, and you turned a blind eye, maybe. And how you can stop participating in this dynamic between you and the other person if you don't have a satisfying relationship, in other words. The outcome is the Queen of Swords, and this is a card of somebody who is really in control of their emotions right now, able to make intelligent decisions without allowing their emotions to dominate. And this can be very helpful to this person because they feel a certain, maybe there's a certain peace involved. I think of, it's below that Ace of Swords. So it's like maybe you were a little bit anxious about having to do this. If you felt compelled to leave someone, and now you feel a lot more empowered to be able to do it because you're not allowing your emotions to get the best of you and to cloud your judgment and to, tug at your heart and maybe make you stay in a situation that you shouldn't have stayed in. Like that Nine of Swords, a situation that may have actually caused a lot of anxiety may be soon lifted. And you may be able to feel that a person is coming into your life who you really vibe with. And that kind of relationship can stand the test of time. Because you're investing in someone who you trust and who really cares about you, who isn't lying to you, who isn't cheating on you, and things like that. You deserve that, Libra. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Libra. If you'd like a private reading, the link to my website is below, rainandmoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.